Everybody, it's Matt West with PowerChalk, and we're here for our first installment of a USA Diving and PowerChalk and the video-based motion analysis system brought to you by USA Diving. And Jason Baumann, do we have you on the line today?
Yeah, I'm here, and thank you, Matt, for doing this and putting it together. I really appreciate it. Matt and I are excited about our opportunities here and what we're doing going forward.
And Jason, if you'd like to, why don't you talk a few minutes, a little bit about our partnership, and then what I'll do is go right into showing our viewers or our participants today in first and foremost how to actually sign up for an account, and then walk them through a little bit of the backdrop, and then we'll get into the telestrator a little bit, and I'll let you show some of your expertise, and then we'll throughout be able to take Q&A versus via the chat line that everybody has available to them. But with that, I want to let you talk a little bit about our partnership.
Absolutely. We have been entered into this as far as that, knowing that video is a huge component of what being a diving coach is, and breaking down skills and also improving on what techniques are currently out there. And through that, obviously, we've had people had videos up and being able to do instant replays and do that. And really, this is the next step forward, where you can actually go through and really break it down and go frame by frame and look at it and really come up with what's the underlying causes in that. And it's really a great educational tool, not just for coaches but also for athletes, and really trying to provide that feedback and information. And we're excited about our partnership, and this is a completely web-based analysis and really open to everybody here, and we're excited to kind of give them the opportunity to take a look and take it for a test drive, I suppose.
Well, thanks, Jason. And why don't we just go right to it? Let's talk a little bit about the difference between a web-based system, and I think this is really important to note that when you load PC software on a machine, then you're kind of beholden to that machine, and where we really depart is that not only in our flexibility to deploy it on any PC, any laptop, but also your handheld devices, from your smartphones, your iPhone, to your tablets. So it really provides you the flexibility to cross over a lot of different devices. We're Mac compatible, and we're completely file and camera agnostic. So it doesn't matter how you send a file to PowerChalk, we can convert it and be able to provide you with the opportunity to telestrate or work on that file and then share it. A couple of other things about being web-based is, obviously, motion analysis is really nothing new. It's been around since 1951. The difference when you start going to our product is the ability to not only sit in the same room with the athlete, the proverbial shoulder to shoulder, but also we allow for the ability for you to upload a video into the telestrator, mark it up, and then share it. And with one button, you can share it with not just one, but with many. But probably the revolutionary thing that you'll see a little bit of what we're going to do today is the ability for you to do live remote lessons, or what we call PowerCast. And that's the ability for you to have coaches and divers, again, one-on-one or one-to-many, be able to receive your lessons live over the internet while you're talking through that instruction like we're about to do today. So let's go into the roots of it, and then I'll show you how to sign up for an account. With our device, what you do is, or our system is, again, you can use your smartphone or any digital camera to go out and take the actual video, and then you can upload it in a number of different ways. You can, again, bring it back and the proverbial plug your device into your laptop and upload. But we think that what we've provided for you is a number of apps where you can use your smartphone or your tablet and even your digital camera and be able to upload without ever having to connect the two devices together. So we invite you to go out and on our website you can find out how to get those premium apps to make that upload process that much easier. So after you go through the recording and the upload, you're ready to work with the telestrator, and I'll show that to you as we get through this demonstration, and then an easy way for you to share those completed videos back to the athlete. As you see, this is kind of the page where you would land if it's your first time that you're going to go and log in and start an account. You'd go to where you see free sign up, you'd put in your first and last name, your email address, and then it would take you to a form that would require probably about 30 seconds for you to fill out. Important to note that through our partnership with USA Diving, you were already delivered an account that is well beyond what the normal person would get with their compliments, and we'll go through those points as we get through the presentation. You'll notice that we've already had John Proctor with USA Diving's board do an analysis session live. We plan on doing a number of those. You can see that down in the bottom right-hand corner. When you go online, you're free to click on that. You can click on it and open it up and watch it. But for today's purposes, what I'd like to do is get you comfortable with using the system. So I'm going to go ahead, Jason, and show everybody how to log in. You'll use the email address that you had set forth in your registration. You would identify a password, and then it's as simple as clicking, and you're on. Again, I set this up to be realistic that if it's the first time that you have signed up for your account, you obviously we're not going to have any videos that are uploaded as your own or private. But what you do have is you do have the access, if you come over to the left-hand bar, of loading all the videos that have been marked public in the system. And this is going to range from every sport imaginable, including bowling and chess and fencing and cycling and everything else. But if you notice underneath the public videos icon, you'll see a folder that says diving. So you can also do a public search by just the sport that we're interested in today, which is diving, and that will sort everything and provide you with an easy access. When you're looking at the videos or the thumbnails, you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner you have the ability to preview any video. So much like anything where you'd want to see if that's the right thumbnail, you can click on that and it'll bring up the screen to where you can actually just watch and see. And then if I decide that that's the dive that I want to telestrate, then I would come over and there's a little icon here with a man with a walkie-talkie, and that's to alert you that if you wanted to click and telestrate that dive or mark it up and talk on top of it, you'd be able to do that. Another way to do the same thing is to go up to the menu bar at the top of the screen where you see the button that says telestrate, and that will take you right in to the telestrator, which we'll do in just a moment. And Jason, one of the things we wanted to share with your folks today is on that left-hand side where you see the button that says premium content or public videos and all that, there is a little bit of a social media aspect to PowerChalk, which allows you to group people together, whether it's my groups or my friends, and really what that's about is the ability for you to share and collaborate the videos very quickly and easy. The example I would use is that if I was a dive coach and I had 15 students that I worked with, if I wanted to send something to all 15 of them, then I would have listed them in my group or listed them in my friends. And then after I do a telestration, with really one click of the button, that video is automatically put in their locker. And you'll hear that word a lot, locker, and that's really just the storage facility for your videos. Jason, anything to add so far?
Well, I think just from looking at some of the participants we have listed there that, you know, you've got people who have a collegiate program or their club program, and it certainly could send something out where you're really talking about a specific skill you're looking to try and encourage, and a good example or something that you wanted to do correctly, or that this is the way you want things to be done. You could share it kind of quickly with that group, but also that you can connect with, you know, your other coaches that are out there that are your friends and get their opinions on something and not be so isolated as just, you know, to your own coaches, you and yourself and your staff, as opposed to now being able to reach out and talk to somebody in California from as far away as obviously on the East Coast in Florida, and have that connection and get somebody else's opinion and look at something it's really quick and easy to do that way. So I think it's a great way to go about it.
And folks, you know, today, we're trying to be time sensitive. We're trying to keep this to about 30 minutes, and again, allow you to ask any question you'd like through our chat feature. We've got Chaz Henry with us, the founder of the company, on the other end. He's glad to answer any questions. But when you look at that left-hand margin, if I went down to the help videos, if I had any questions about how to get started, it gives you some tutorials. As you can see, we're also the official motion analysis system of the Amateur Softball Association, Little League Baseball. United States Synchronized Swimming has just become a partner of ours, as well as we have a number of Major League Baseball franchises, professional baseball franchises using our product, and USA Baseball. But for now, let's do this. Let's go back up to the public videos, and I'm going to go ahead again and put them in the diving vein. And I want to show you how easy it is to do what you really are going to use the system for, and that is to analyze video. Again, I mentioned earlier that I can come right over to the headset if I wanted to telestrate that video, or go up to the menu bar item that says telestrate and go ahead and click on that button. I'm going to go ahead and go to my favorites, because I've already put in my favorites 2 examples of the hurdle step. And again, Jason has forgotten more than I'll ever know about the hurdle step, so I'm here more to educate about how to use the product. But let's use that idea of the first example is the one that I want to load in the telestrator. I'm going to go ahead and come over to the man with the walkie-talkie. I'm going to click that, and now you're going to automatically see that video load, and you see how quickly that loads. And what I want to be able to make sure I spend an appropriate amount of time is, and this is a large due part to the credit to with Chaz Henry, is that what we've done is we've created a product where it's sophisticated enough where, again, Major League Professional Sports franchises, Olympic teams, Division I college programs, the PGA Tour are using the product, but we wanted to make it easy for anybody to use. So there, you'll see that there aren't 150 buttons to push. It's very easy, user-friendly. So let's start down on the bottom right-hand corner real quick, if we will, in that yellow box with a question mark. I'm going to click that box, and what that box is, it's basically tooltips that you can click that box, and as long as it's active, I can go and basically scroll up to any button on the palette and have a written tutorial. And by the way, when I scroll it over the box button, you're going to read that, and of course that would mean that you'd have to speak Spanish, because we've written the program in 5 different languages. So I wanted to challenge you viewers today to see how your Spanish was, but again, you can scroll that over any one of the buttons. So if I wanted to know what the ruler was able to do, I could put it over this and it would tell you what it was able to do. Now I'm going to go back over to the right-hand corner and uncheck that button so the verbiage goes away. And let's talk about what you're looking at here. If you notice, when we loaded the first video in the slot, a second slot appeared that is load video B, and we'll get to that in just a moment, because I think when you want to talk a little bit about how to analyze the videos, being able to compare them side by side is absolutely critical. Equally as important, again, I mentioned 3 ways to use the product. One is shoulder to shoulder, the other is to record the video. So if I were to press the red button there where the arrow is drawn, it would come up, and 3, 2, 1, you would be prompted. And in that prompting, you would be able to then start recording. So you could take a dive, and let's say this dive was 10 seconds long, and you could turn it into a 10-minute coaching analysis session from there. And then finally, we have the PowerCast button, and that's when you want to do live screen sharing. So just spending just 2 seconds on that, Jason, before I let you do your magic. If I were the coach and I had 14 divers, and for some reason we had an outdoor facility, we had inclement weather, you could actually have all of your divers on their own home computers or wherever they have an internet signal, and you could press broadcast my screen. If I was the coach, the diver would press watch, or if it was coach to assistant coach, and now you, the coach, or the broadcaster, are controlling that computer screen, and that can be 3,000 to 4,000 miles away. So it really, really is a fabulous feature of our product. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect from there, go down to the erase button, and I'm going to go ahead and erase all of my markup. So Jason, I think you're on. I'm going to go ahead and say down here where you folks see the A is the video timeline, and I can literally drag the playhead, and while I do that, Jason, why don't you go ahead and take over and tell me how you'd analyze this hurdle step?
Well, I think in this example, obviously this is Christina Lucas, and you've got probably right in here, you can stop in a couple of different spots of where she goes at this point with the double and both feet together, and where her hands are, and obviously her body alignment there. If you move it, go forward slightly to her hop here hurdle going there. This is the hop before. And then obviously you notice where her arm position is, that they're already moving back when she's leaving the diving board here. Certainly this is what some options and pieces that you would break down. And then if you go forward with it to the point where she comes and just when she lands on the diving board, you see her arms actually start moving forward just a little bit before then, and obviously she's just touched the diving board. The hands are already started through and really nice and upright through her chest, and obviously looking where she landed. You can see her head position as well. And then I think from there you can see where she goes through and how her foot stays in and really gets that nice high extension there.
And folks, I'm literally, as Jason is talking, I'm pressing the buttons, and I'm just using the plus button. I could be rolling my mouse wheel to make it go frame by frame. If you look down at the very bottom of the screen, you see the kind of the VCR controls with a pause button, a play, a slow motion, a super slow motion. So I'm literally on the plus button, and I can go backward and forward. So Jason, keep on going, and I'll follow your direction.
No, that's good. And I think when you get obviously here really the great step down position there where she's really holding in a nice straight line and coming through. And I think it's important to note right there as she touches the diving board, and if you can bring it back a couple of frames when her feet just land, that actually shows that, you know, her hands are almost by her hips already. And then if you can go looking where she is body wise there, and then Matt, if you can just move it forward a few frames when the board's all the way down and you see it just start to change direction again. Really that she's already up. Now obviously I think there she's maybe a pinch too far forward with her chest, but that her arms are already gotten back up and now she's in line. And now you can really take this, and obviously with the slow motion and the frame advance you can see exactly where she is body shape, where she gets to in that, so that she can start her motion on the way up and really get that full use and push out of the diving board. And I think what you notice with Christina is that she's probably one of the females that jumps higher than anyone else in the world. And obviously you've got the ability to kind of break some of that down and how she gets into that right position. The nice part about that is that we can back this up, we can mark on that, you can use it as an example for any of your other athletes out there, and kind of go through, you know, what are the components and the big pieces that you're trying to indicate to them. And then I think if you, go ahead. Sorry.
No. You tell me. I was going to take it back as we did earlier. If you folks are looking for that, Jason, if we're ready to show them maybe how you marry two divers together,
yeah,
that would be appropriate.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is I think if you want to take it back to right when she touches down on the diving board there, coming, you know, out of the hurdle, that you can sync that up with the other example you have, which is Kelsey Bryant's as well.
So as we mentioned earlier, when you loaded a video into slot A, load B appears, and so I'm going to go out and I'm going to check and say, okay, is that the video I want? I believe it is. So I load into B, and her name is Kelsey. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
So now what I can do, folks, is I can literally toggle back and forth between the A and the B, and with Jason's direction I can really pull Kelsey into the same position, and I'll start using the plus button. Is that about right there, Jason?
That should
Maybe
be about right.
One?
I think right there should be good.
There?
Yep.
And then, folks, what I can do is right next to the A and B button, you see some, looks like brackets. That allows me to split the screen.
Oh.
Am I in the right place?
No, we're not. We went to a different spot. We got to move Kelsey forward there.
Okay. And
a little further. All right.
Out right there?
Yep.
So as we have those two videos matched up, I still am able to go on either video, and I'm just going to draw a circle on either one. I can draw on them independently. I can take them out of split screen, and if I was Kelsey's coach, I can see, now Kelsey, see where we are there versus our model diver, or I can put it back in split screen and the markup would remain. What this really gets good, and again, Jason's the expert here, is if you look at the lock that sits in the center just below the two videos, I can now lock those two videos together, and whether I want to take both divers backward or forward, I can move them together. And again, using Jason's expertise, I can again stop and draw on either video. Jason, take it from here.
Well, I think with both of these girls, you can see that they're obviously in a nice stretched out line position there, and actually Kelsey's maybe even a little better there with the hands back and more in line. You can see they both have the slight break at the knees as they start coming down to the diving board, kind of preparing to go into that deep load phase. And then you can actually take them forward to where they touch the diving board, and you see the path of the arms there. Christina's go a little further back, Kelsey's maybe stay a little more lateral, but the chest is still in the relatively the same position. Both slightly forward there, hips over the heels, and then as you take them forward a little bit.
And folks, as I'm drawing the angles, and I'll do exactly what Jason says, you can include the degrees or not, it's up to you. But if you wanted to draw out a skeleton, you can certainly draw out a skeleton if that was helpful. I'll come back and erase those markups and then move Jason where you want me to be.
I think if you can go all the way when the board's all the way down and just stop it right there, actually come back just a little bit. I think you can see right there even a little difference as far as just the hands being crossed a little more on the Christina side. Kelsey's a little more, again, a little bit shift forward there when the board's all the way down. But both of them, the board's all the way down here, their arms are all the way up above their head and prepared. And I think that's a really big key that we need to figure out how to influence in all of our athletes of how to get to this position on time.
Jason, one thing I wanted to bring up while you're doing that is with any video, if there was any movement from side to side with the person with the camera, if you went up to the top of the screen of each video where you see the triangle that has an A or a B, I can literally grab that triangle. So for example, I'm going to do it with Kelsey, because if you notice, if I forward the video, you start to lose her hands a little bit out of the screen. I would just go up and grab the B and slide the video over and center it up. So if that helps you, again, if you're someone that's looking for a particular aspect, in that case of the hand position, you'd want to slide the video over. Jason, keep going. And we noticed that it's a different dive, but again, we were really focusing on the hurdle step. And Jason, are you still there, or did we lose you?
Oh, I'm still here. Sorry about that.
Oh, there you are.
Yep.
That's okay.
But yeah, I think if you want to take that all the way through to the end where they hit the water, you can see they're pretty much about the same height, and as far as the time that they spend in the water, really looking at how we matched them up. I think that's a pretty good example. If you take it back just a little bit, right to where we started to talk about the hands, where you moved her over a little bit, Matt, that would be great. I would say right
there.
Yeah, right in there, and if you could slide Kelsey to the right just a little bit, there you go. I think when we were looking at that, if you go frame advance just a couple of frames here, you can really see the difference in the head position between
yeah,
how much higher. Really looks like Christina's head is there early, but then Kelsey's is up a little later, but it's still getting to the same position. But again, some really powerful information that you can get from that and really help to get people out there. And figuring out even just these little nuances. Go ahead.
One thing I want to share with the viewers before we advance the frame anymore, if I unlock the divers at this point, if you look below the line, you'll see a button that has a heart on it. That's just so you can save that video as a favorite. But just to the side of that button, the left side, is a button that looks like a little stick person. And when I shade over it, it changes direction. What that allows me to do, that if you were sitting there filming on one side of the pool and the analysis of somebody else or the model came on the other side of the pool, I could literally just flip the video around. So if, for example, we were working with the diver on the left, but Kelsey's video was shot from the other side of the pool, we'd go to the mirror image below her video and flip her around and then send her up. Just helps you, again, I'm not a dive person, but I'm sure that there are some pool decks where you're going to be compromised on one side of the pool or not, and that just allows you to have the greatest flexibility to be able to find the perfect model for your athlete. Jason?
That's great. I think we really hit on a lot of the points there, and that you can use this to do a lot of different components and compare and contrast. And really, I think a lot of people, when they're doing the video analysis, one of the first things you want to do is really come up with, who's going to be your model you want it, or what's going to be the model you want to compare it to. And I think that really helps kind of with each individual person to have that. And I know that building a library is out there, and I think it's the advantage of what we've got is that you're having this library actually going to be available to you if the videos are listed as public as well. So we can really provide from that piece too.
And that's probably a good information point, is that when you do go, and I'm going to go ahead, Jason, with your permission, and get out of the telestrator. Yep. I think that we've shared enough information there. One of the things that you're going to want to be thinking about is that I'm going to go to the public video storage area, is that if you were to upload your video, there are a number of ways to save them. If I was in the public area, if you look to the right of the video, you see a frame that says public. That means that anybody in the PowerChalk empire can see that video. They can use that video, they can telestrate on that video. You also have the ability to go and you can change how you want to save that video. So changing this, how you save that video, could be to make it private, and private means that the only one who gets to see that video is you. So if you're a dive coach and you have X number of students and you want to kind of partition that off for a number of reasons, not the least of which is privacy and security, you can do that. You can also mark it as unlisted. And in those particular security features, you have the ability to grant people access to be able to reach down into your locker and pull a video out and use it or not. But you would have control over that. So there's security and safety issues that we've taken steps toward that I think are to the benefit of all. But this gives you an idea. Again, this is where you'd start being able to upload videos. And to give you kind of a sense, from the time that you stand on the pool deck, and if you were to use your iPhone or your iPad 2 or 3, I guess at this point, or your Android, you would literally be able to stand on the pool deck and take a video and use our uploader, and you'd be able to upload videos directly from the pool deck into your account without ever hooking up the machine. And those uploads take anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 or 3 minutes for them to post. So it gives you an idea of how quick that can be. And I know one of the questions, Jason, your members may ask is, how long are the videos? And what we would probably recommend, and I think diving's a good example, it's probably one dive per video. So if you can keep it at 20 seconds or less, then that upload and download time to be able to collaborate and share that video is really, really short.
Yeah, I think being able to cut them out into clips like that really makes the biggest difference, as opposed to taping a whole contest, or if you're doing that, then being able to do it. So it actually works better when it's a short clip, which is how most people will do this.
I guess a couple more things to note, and then we'll go ahead and close, is that over on the right-hand margin up here, you have the ability to access our live help. That means you can call us. We also have a lot of the questions answered in an automated form. If you're used to using Google, there may be a form that you can, again, type in a question, and we already have that answer written out for you. If you wanted to upgrade and see what features that you were available to purchase, again, this is a service that's being provided to you at a specific level by USA Diving. But if you wanted to have more storage and more features, you wanted to be able to have the ability to communicate live with people, you get a 50% off discount on any of our retail pricing courtesy of USA Diving. And the promotional code that you see there, the promotional code is USA Diving. So you would just simply say, I want to add that to my cart. You would go ahead and put the promotional code in. When you press the go button, it would automatically show your discount. And again, we think that what USA Diving has provided you is a very competitive account for you to get started. But if you're a serious dive coach, we know that you're going to run out of headroom on the storage side. You're going to probably want to have storage that exceeds what you have in your account. And there may be some other features, and the value of being web-based is that as we start to add features and iterations to the product, unlike Microsoft Word, that you'd have to go and purchase another and you put a disk in your computer and install, we just automatically deliver that to you when you register for your account. Jason, what else do you want me to cover, or what other things do you have?
I think just obviously the features that are there are certainly, that they're customizable to what you may be looking for. You may, if you want more storage, or if you're looking to just to do the split screen, or that those components are there, that certainly you've got that ability. I know split screen to me is probably one of the things that I would use the most, and do use the most, where I can compare two things side by side and make that kind of components of trying to figure out, well, this person does it much better. What are they doing differently than my other athlete? And so I think that it's important to know that you can really determine what it is that you want it to be. And if you're not as interested in doing something like the PowerCast or the broadcast, you don't necessarily have to. You can make those choices as you go forward, and really try to make it creatable for anyone.
Right. Yep. And Jason, we're getting some questions. Becky, you've got a good question. I'm sure that Chaz Henry is answering that question, but he's the person to answer how you rotate that video. But don't panic, we definitely can. And speaking of your question about using your phone, let me talk real quickly, Jason, about the apps that you will use. Drew Johansson, who's the head diving coach, obviously, for Duke University and the U.S. national team, his just over the moon comment about this is that when he was able to take his iPad down on the pool deck and use what we call our 10-second telestrator, and I'm going to come over here to the Go Mobile section. I'm going to up on the top cursor, and if I press that, I'm going to just bring it here. The 10-second telestrator that can be loaded on your iPhone or on your tablet, your iPad, allows you to use the tablet as both a camera and the telestration tool, because by the time the diver gets out of the pool, you could literally walk over to them and draw lines, arcs, and circles on the screen from that dive. You can just put the tablet back down, or you can actually save that video and would send it into your locker and the diver's locker while you're standing there on the pool deck. So the ultimate flexibility. And for you folks that use the Android, we've got the uploader already in the App Store. The 10-second telestrator is coming. Should be available to you within the next 3 weeks. Great ways to create more flexibility and the ability to use your product. Jason, I think that we've covered off on a lot of things today, and we want to make sure everybody knows that a recorded session of this will be, the link to that will be on USA Diving's website as well as PowerChalk.com, and it'll be featured on YouTube. And we hope that this is one of many sessions that we'll do, and as we get a little bit more down the road, we'll spend less time talking about the system itself and more time taking advantage of the great minds like Jason Baumann and the rest at USA Diving and across the country in educating people of how to evaluate dives.
Absolutely. I think that's where we are. So thank you.
Jason, you got anything else?
I don't. I just would say encourage people that if they have questions to obviously contact both either myself or you guys through the info button there, and certainly we look forward to having everybody kind of jump on board here and start using this product.
Well, with that, Jason, I want to thank you for including this on this session. We look forward to the next one, and for those of you who joined us, thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, it's info@powerchalk.com. You also have a phone number. Just go log on and get started. Thank you, Jason, very much.
Thank you very much, Matt, and